Admit it, you're buying the Floyd Mayweather vs. Logan Paul fight just to see the undefeated boxer knock the daylights out of the YouTube star. However, before that dreadful date arrives, let's take a look back at how Mr. Logan built up the opportunity to step into the ring against Pretty Boy. Most of you know Logan because of the controversial drama that seems to come from the Paul brothers each month. However, like his brother Jake, Logan has an athletic background during his high school days. Logan was an all-star linebacker at the Westlake High School football team back in 2012 and qualified for the state-level Ohio High School Athletic Association 2013 Division I Wrestling Individual Championships. However, once Logan dropped out of college in 2014, then his main gig became a YouTube star. The controversial figure even appeared in some movies and television shows, namely Law & Order, Special Victims Unit, Weird Loners, and The Thinning. Logan even wrote and starred in his film Airplane Mode. Trust me, the less we speak about that movie, the better. Of course, we can't forget about the lovely rap career with his brother Jake and Team 10. By the time 2018 rolled around, the Paul brothers had nearly 16 million subscribers on their YouTube channel, and despite all of their controversies thus far, these guys were megastars both in the YouTube and mainstream world. So how did Logan Paul get thrust into the world of professional boxing? That's all due to KSI, who called out the rapper and YouTube star following his big victory over Joe Weller. It didn't take long for Logan to accept the fight against KSI, however, the bout was an amateur white-collar boxing match. As you can imagine, the training regime was intense for the YouTube star, as this was his first foray into boxing. Logan was inspired by mega movie star and former WWE champion Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, thus Logan's regime and diet reflected on the 49-year-old's crazy workout schedule. Logan usually goes to the gym 5 to 6 days per week, with the core of his exercises being a bench press, dumbbell presses, machine chest flies, cable crossovers, crunches, hanging leg raises, planks, and dips for his abdominal chest area. For his back, lat pull-downs, cable rows, V-bar machine rows, pullovers, and deadlifts were his favorites. For shoulders and biceps, military Smith machine press, seated side lateral raises, lat pull-downs, bicep dumbbell, isolation, and hammer curls were a part of his everyday regimen. Logan focused on his boxing for an hour or two each session 4 times a week. In terms of diet, Logan's breakfast consisted of oatmeal, fruits, and eggs. For lunch and snack, chicken, rice, vegetables, and a protein bar helped tide him over until dinner, in which the 26-year-old essentially had the same type of foods as lunch. So with all this intense training, did Logan Paul win the amateur fight against KSI? Well, kind of. The match ended in a majority draw. It was announced later on that Logan and KSI would meet in their first professional boxing match on November 9th, 2019 at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. Once that announcement was made official, Logan intensified his training for his upcoming fight by hiring 2-time world champ Shannon Briggs and Milton Lacroix. Just a little background on Logan's new coach. Shannon Briggs started boxing in 1992 and was undefeated for 3 years straight with a record of 22-0. Briggs has fought boxing legends George Foreman, Lennox Lewis, Ray Mercer, and Sergey Lihovich. As previously mentioned, Briggs has won the Lineal Heavyweight title and WBO Heavyweight Championship. In total, Briggs has amassed an impressive record of 60 wins with only 6 career losses on his record. Logan's training habits for his first fight against KSI were a walk in the park compared to the crazy methods he did during his training regime. First, Logan was in the gym 6 days a week for 4 hours. At 9 a.m., Logan is sparring inside a boxing ring until 11:30 a.m. It wasn't always an easy go, as there were times that Logan was beaten like a government mule. Luckily, a nice ice bath calmed down the YouTube star, along with a hyperbaric oxygen chamber that further boosted his recovery. For strength and conditioning, the former high school wrestler would train after 6:30 p.m. with the session lasting between 90 minutes and 2 hours. Oh, and Logan had to drink raw cow's blood. Ew. On the other side of the camp, KSI was taking this boxing match very seriously as well. With the help of East London cruiserweight Vidal Riley, his coach Leon Wills, and Wally Downs Jr., the fellow YouTube star went crazy inside of the gym as well. Unfortunately, the use of cow blood was not in sight. So, November 9th rolls around, and you could guess who won this professional bout. I'm giving you a hint. It wasn't the man who drank the cow blood. That's right, Logan Paul ended up losing his first professional fight via split decision. The rematch consisted of 3 rounds of close action that saw KSI barely get the win over Paul. Despite the loss, the matchup showed just how far Logan has come in terms of his boxing skills. So how did Logan Paul, a winless professional boxer, go from KSI to multi-time world champion Floyd Mayweather Jr.? One word: money. KSI vs. Logan Paul 2 did 1.2 million pay-per-view buys globally. This eclipsed the Anthony Joshua vs. Andy Ruiz Jr. fight, which only did a reported 500,000 pay-per-view buys. In addition, both Paul brothers have been a hot topic in the combat sports world, which has caused a resurgence of some sort. Now, on June 6, 2021, both men will square off in a special attraction match that heavily favors Floyd Mayweather Jr. Speaking of which, Mayweather doesn't seem to take Logan all too seriously, as the former world champ admitted that he isn't using a full training training camp for the upcoming exhibition match. Can you blame him? This is a guy who's beaten legends such as Manny Pacquiao, Oscar De La Hoya, and Sugar Shane Mosley. Logan, on the other hand, is looking to knock out the man with a 50-0 record. The 26-year-old is currently training in Puerto Rico in the Team La Perla gym in San Juan. The two advantages Logan has over Mayweather are in height and reach, which he'll surely try to capitalize on. We'll find out next month if Logan Paul can pull off the upset of the century.